Imagine waking up one day to find your savings wiped out, your job gone, and the future uncertain. This was the grim reality for millions during the Great Depression, the most devastating economic crisis in modern history. But how did it happen, and what lessons does it still hold for us today? The 1920s were an era of optimism and growth. Advances like the automobile, radios, and household appliances revolutionized daily life. People flocked to urban centers for new opportunities, and businesses thrived in this golden age of innovation. This prosperity fueled a feverish belief that the stock market was a surefire way to get rich. Investing in stocks became a national obsession. From wealthy tycoons to middle-class workers, everyone wanted a piece of the action. And why not? Stock prices had been climbing for years, giving the illusion that the good times would never end. But here's the catch. Many of these investors didn't have the money to buy stocks outright. They were buying on margin, borrowing up to 90% of the stock's price from brokers. If the stock went up, they could sell it, repay the loan, and pocket the profit. But if prices dropped, they'd owe more than they owned. It was a risky game, and millions were playing. At the same time, overproduction was becoming a silent threat. Factories were churning out goods faster than people could buy them, leading to unsold inventories. Farmers faced a similar problem as crop prices plummeted due to surpluses. The gap between rich and poor widened, leaving the majority of Americans unable to participate fully in this supposed prosperity. The stage was set for disaster. The stock market was wildly overvalued, the economy was built on shaky foundations, and millions were living on borrowed money. The glittering promise of the Roaring Twenties was about to come crashing down. It started with whispers. On October 24, 1929, Black Thursday, stock prices began to wobble. Nervous investors rushed to sell, causing a frenzy. By the end of the day, panic had spread like wildfire, and prices had tumbled. But this was just the beginning. 5 days later, on October 29, Black Tuesday, the market completely collapsed. Investors dumped 16 million shares in a single day, and the market lost billions of dollars in value. Banks that had loaned money to investors faced massive losses and began to fail. The financial dominoes were falling. Bank runs soon followed. Panicked customers rushed to withdraw their savings, only to find their money gone. Over 9,000 banks failed during the Depression, wiping out life savings and leaving millions with nothing. This wasn't just an American crisis. The U.S. was a major player in the global economy, and its collapse sent shockwaves around the world. Countries dependent on American loans and trade spiraled into their own economic downturns, making this a truly global depression. In just a matter of months, the euphoria of the 1920s gave way to despair. The stock market crash was the spark, but it wasn't the sole cause of the Great Depression. It exposed deeper weaknesses in the economy and set off a chain reaction of failures that plunged the world into years of hardship. As businesses failed and unemployment soared to 25%, the Great Depression became more than a financial crisis. It was a human catastrophe. Families lost their homes and turned to makeshift shantytowns called Hoovervilles, named after President Herbert Hoover, whose response was widely criticized as ineffective. Adding to the misery was the Dust Bowl, a man-made environmental disaster in the Midwest. Years of poor farming practices and severe drought turned fertile land into a barren wasteland. Thousands of Okies migrated west, desperate for work, only to find more hardship waiting for them. In 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected president, promising a New Deal for Americans. His administration launched ambitious programs to stabilize the economy, create jobs, and provide relief to those in need. Agencies like the WPA and CCC put millions back to work, while reforms like Social Security and FDIC aimed to prevent future crises. Through his fireside chats, Roosevelt reassured a weary nation, restoring a sense of hope. While the New Deal didn't end the Depression, it marked a turning point, laying the groundwork for recovery. It wasn't until World War II that the Great Depression truly ended. The war effort revived industries and created millions of jobs, pulling the global economy out of its slump. But the lessons of the Great Depression remain vital to this day. The Great Depression taught us the importance of regulating financial markets, providing social safety nets, and addressing inequality. is a stark reminder of how fragile prosperity can be and how resilience and unity can help us rebuild even in the darkest times. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoy it, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.